Josh Brehmer here with this week's Regals Rundown. Today we're in, not many people know about Utah, but we're in the stalls in Utah where the Equestrian team homes their events. Today we have a great interview, Brooke Leininger from the coach of the women's Equestrian team and Paige Mitchell of the women's volleyball team. Brooke, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Good to be in your home scenario. So do you see, we had a very, very strong weekend with Wisconsin River Falls.
Yeah.
Then another weekend after that. Talk about that weekend and how strong and how encouraging it was to see your team come out and compete as well.
Well, you know, we've had a lot of preseason, and it was great to see all that preseason work really pay off. And I think that probably the most impressive thing was that they went out there and not only were they really good and strong, they were really consistent.
Yeah.
And consistency is something that has haunted us in the past. So it was great to have 2 days where it was just time after time after time. We just went out there and we were really good. We were on top the whole time.
That's good, that's good. So, okay, not a lot of people know how equestrian judges. So talk about what judges look for when in competitions and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, basically the concept of punt amputation is that the rider should have complete control of the horse at all times. And so when you see a round that is flawless, it looks really easy, the time into the fences are really steady, the horse is really well controlled, and the aids are really invisible. And so that's what we're really looking for. It should look easy, it should look smooth. So to train for that, we train really hard. We go through a lot of our basic skill sets every day, and then they're constantly learning new advanced skills and maneuvers so they can keep progressing in their 4 years here, because we do have different levels. So they get a chance to really work through all of that. But it is subjective, so that can be a little bit complicated at times. But when you see a horse going around and jumping the fences, every fence should be taken off in the same spot. The rider should be really solid secure at the top of the fence. The horse should take the designated number of strides throughout the course, and then there are lots of options in the course, and so they have to decide on what option to take and make the right decision.
Wow, there's a lot that goes into judging.
Yes.
It's a lot of stuff. So you had a very, very achievement summer for yourself. You won the silver dressage. Sorry about that. Good federation. Talk about like the goal, like when you had to prepare, like the goal that you really wanted. Just talk about the accomplishment that you had. That's huge.
It is. This has been a lifelong goal, so I've been preparing for this my entire life. The last 5 years, I have trained day in and day out with this goal in mind. You know, the amount of preparation and physical training for me was pretty immense. And then on top of it, there's another athlete involved, my horse. So to prepare her and have her ready and have her prime every single time we went out to be at the top of her game and for us to mesh together and be there together, it was huge. And even though I was really prepared, and even though I felt like I really managed things well, up to the point I would still get out there and I would really ask myself, can I do this? And it was so hard. So earning it was a huge accomplishment. At times I really didn't think I could. And so earning it was one of probably the biggest riding accomplishments of my life. But I loved the journey, I loved every moment. I'm already thinking about maybe what my next goal will be.
There you go. Well, congratulations on that award.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me on Regals Rundown.
Thank you.
That was Brooke Leininger from the UMC Equestrian team. Now Paige Mitchell, volleyball team. Paige, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're here in the horse barns.
Yes.
How you doing?
I've never been here before.
That's good. So the UMC volleyball team's on a 3-game win streak. Talk about what you guys have done to keep that going. What goes through your mind, like practices, games. What goes through your practice for you guys?
Well, our practices are actually getting a little bit easier since preseason now that we've been playing for about 2 months. But naturally, we're going to get better as the season goes along. You know, we had 7 freshmen join us this year, so just getting them used to everything, the way stuff runs, and getting used to each other, it's getting a lot better, and we're working well together as a team. So it helps us in games as well, because we're able to come up above our opponents.
Better chemistry.
Yeah, definitely.
So last year for the volleyball team you were a setter. This year you moved to defensive specialist. Talk about that switch. What is the difference between being a setter and defensive specialist? Is there anything different that you had to learn?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different mindset, but being a setter, you also play defense, so it's not like anything new I had to learn. It's just a little bit more, less to focus on, really. But then, I mean, the transition originally was a little tough just because I've set my entire life, but I think I've accepted my role on the team and just trying to help us win in any way that we can.
So you're originally from Florida.
Yeah.
What brought you to UNC?
Obviously the horse barns.
Obviously.
I mean, I just got offered a really good deal to come up here, and I figured I would give it a try. I was leaving junior college, and originally I wanted to go into nursing, and since they had the health science degree here, I was like, well, I'll give that a try, kind of keep my options open. And so I came up here. I actually signed without visiting, so that was trusting. And yeah, and I mean, I don't regret it at all. I'm almost done, and I've been here for 2.5 years, so it's worked out well.
That's good. We're glad to have you here.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for joining me on the show today.
No problem.
Enjoy
Thanks,
the horse
Josh.
barns. I'm Josh Brehmer with this week's Regal Rundown. Make sure you tune in next week for another surprise.